events that are currently unfolding are correspond, or they match perfectly with what what Zechariah or Zacharias, I think, the prophet of the Hebrew Scripture, and Ezekiel and other prophets were saying about the time that we're in, right? About the conflict of Gog and Magog, because it talks about the nations. It talks about Gog from Magog and Poras, which is Persia, right? Okay, and that they will wage war on Israel. Okay, and but while they're waging war on Israel, they will fight each other. They'll kill each other too, which is odd. And also, there's going to be Jews who will join them in their attack against Israel. It says Jerusalem, but Jerusalem is often, it's a word for the remnant of Israel, right? For the kingdom of Israel, right? That remained after the exile of the northern tribes. Okay, like the history of Israel is like this. Let's start with King Solomon. It's a united nation, right? After King Solomon, the nation broke in two. Okay, and then the southern kingdom, which was run by the dynasty of Solomon, right, David, and then the northern kingdom, which was a kingdom for the 10 tribes, the northern 10 tribes of Israel. Okay, after that split, and then after the 10 northern tribes were exiled out of Israel entirely, the what remained of the original Israelite kingdom was Judah in the south, but the prophets often refer to it just generally as Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is the capital. Okay, it didn't just literally mean Jerusalem, but it was referring to the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, and a smattering of refugees from the northern tribes that came to live in the southern kingdom. So the prophet is saying that there will be Jews who will join Magog and Poras, which it's clearly evident that Magog is the USA, as it looks right now, and Iran, which is Persia, right? So the USA is making it possible financially for Iran to carry out everything that it wants to do. It has proxy armies, right, which is Hezbollah, the Houthis in Yemen, and Hamas. Those are Iranian proxy armies. Those are Iranian armies. In other words, those are Iranian armies, okay, that have been attacking Israel for a long time. And then they launched attack directly from their own land, right, from Iran directly, right? But all of that is almost 100% facilitated by the United States State Department and this current regime that has taken over and runs the United States government right now. Okay, that's Magog. All right. I'm not talking about the American people. I'm not talking about the population. We're talking about the fake president and all of the deep state.
Yep.
That's Magog.
It's a usurper administration. My parents have friends. They talk about, my parents call them. They live in Lvov in Ukraine. And every so often they talk, and then the husband is like, he'll say, I'll say it in Russian, "Это ваш президент." It's like, it's your president, or he'll say, "Это Америка." It's not America. It's not our president. First of all, he's not our president. Second of all, it's not America. It's this weird entity that answers to China and Iran, has literally Iranian spies in the administration. There's like, Kash Patel. He made a whole presentation outlining who's in this administration. These Iranian people who are literally working for the Iranian government.
We should play that presentation. We should.
Yeah.
But hold on, that'll be the next thing.
I'll just look for it.
I'm going to finish summarizing quickly the rabbi was saying. And so that's self-evident. So the Israeli political class, right? Not the Jews of Israel, but the Israeli political class, which is like a mini deep state of the, which are the lapdogs of the big deep state in the United States and in Western Europe. Okay, they are all participating in this together against the Jews. These entities, okay, which are like these ticks, these parasites that have like attached themselves to these key positions in governments of Israel and of America and of Western Europe, right? It's like Spectre. Basically, Gog is Spectre from James Bond. Okay? And Poros is Iran. That's just basically, and not even all of Iran. We should play that. Can we play that in a second? We're going to play you a clip of the sentiment of the average Iranian and what they really feel about the Ayatollahs. Okay? So even in Iran, it's the Iranian deep state, which was, by the way, installed by the CIA. I don't know how many people know that. The CIA is the deep state. It's the deep state of the world. It's Spectre. Okay, so basically,
I'm just looking for this video. I apologize.
That's all right.
If there's any noise.
Right. So that's Gog and Magog. And then he was talking about the sections in the prophets where it says that 2/3 will be wiped away and 1/3 will be examined like refined gold. So that's the most people interpret that as, a worldwide nuclear holocaust or whatever, or biological holocaust or whatever, right? Biological weapons where people literally die. And we have a tradition in the Hebrew scripture, right, for the Torah tradition, that the negative prophecies are not mandatory. The positive prophecies are definitely mandatory, really mandatory, but the negative ones are not. Okay? So, and there's different ways as to how the negative prophecies can come about, even if they do come about in any sense. They don't necessarily have to come about at all, but even if they do come about, it doesn't have to be only in the worst possible way. There's an entire spectrum of how it could be mitigated. And one of those possibilities, right, which I think is the likeliest one, is that the 2/3 are like what the rabbi said, are people who are viciously against the Jews in general and Israel by extension. And so God will do something to them in their minds and hearts, which will show them that they were wrong, and they will feel a sense of shame for being the way that they were. But they won't do it to themselves. It's not something that they will undergo themselves. It's something that will be done to them, will be forced upon them in some way. I don't know what that means, but they will regrettably see the truth and then kind of regrettably concede that they were wrong, and then over time feel shame about how vicious they were, in their mindset, and how full of hatred they were against the Jews. Okay. And the 1/3 are people who are also were against the Jews, but then they somehow, because they were people of truth, right? They're the people who are like, I don't care where this leads me. The truth, I'm a seeker of the truth. And then they go on a journey of truth and they discover they were wrong about their initial impressions about the Jews. And they themselves will be responsible for this transformation, and they won't experience, shame or pain, because they were honest people, and they did honest investigations, and then they responded to the information in an honest way, and they changed their viewpoint. So those people are considered like the refined gold. Okay, and then the rabbi was talking about there's tens of millions of people in the world, not Jews, who were never against the Jews to begin with, right? Who inherently had a subconscious intuitive connection to the Jews and who have a subconscious, intuitive attraction to right and wrong. They understand. They have a deep-rooted connection to. They just understand inherently what's right and wrong, right? And those people are essentially considered part of the house of Israel, regardless of what religion whatever flag you're flying under or whatever. Okay, so and that include and the people I'm describing right now. There are Christians and there are atheists and there are Muslims or whatever who are like these, right? And basically they're like this, I think, in spite of their view of the technical religious communities they're attracted to, right? Or they're connected to or born into. Okay, so it doesn't matter that much, like what religion you technically are. If you have this inherent connection where you understand intuitively like right and wrong, right? And you could be a Christian or a Muslim, and if you have that, you're not going to be blindly or even you're not going to be against the Jewish people. Okay, you might be against.
Correct.
You might be against the Israeli political class. You might be against like anti-Jewish Jews, whatever, who are technically, but you understand that doesn't represent. Yeah. It's not an example of the average Jewish person and of what we believe. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
So anybody who comes from anywhere in the world and understands that, and you support Jewish people, it doesn't even have to be because we're Jews, but you just see that wrong is happening to us, right? And then you're not going to jump on the bandwagon with everybody else. You're in good shape. You don't have to do anything except be that way. In other words, just don't hate us. That's all you got to do to be in the clear. You don't have to become a Jew. You don't have to grow a beard and grow side locks and and then attend and then go to Fiddler on a Roof every showing of it. You don't have to do that at all. You just don't hate Jews and don't be against Israel, right? And you don't have to think we're special. You don't have to think but just don't jump on the bandwagon with everybody else. And if you consider us human beings who deserve as much, respect for, as human beings in every way, right? Like, for instance, you feel, if you're Italian or if you're Irish or whatever, you're Swahili, you feel like you have your identity, you have your country, you have your culture, and you feel that it should be that way. And if you feel also that the Jews have the right to that too, like everyone else, right? Then you're okay. You don't have to think that we're special. You just have to not hate us and not jump on the bandwagon. And that's it. Okay? So basically, you guys aren't included at all in that 1/3 and the 2/3. You're free and clear from that whole
correct
rehab program. Okay?
Yeah. To say the least.